All right. Joining me tonight is running back Tim Whitfield of the Green Bay Blizzard. He is easily my favorite player when it comes to the IFL, and I am super excited to speak with him tonight. How you doing tonight, Tim?
I'm blessed. How about you, my guy?
I definitely cannot complain. I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. So I always kind of start these with one question. At what age did you get your start in organized football, and what inspired you to play the game?
I started playing football at 4 years old, and what made me want to play ball was just my family. We're a big football family and everything, and mainly my dad. And he just got me. He just handed me the ball, and I just took it and rode with it.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, have you always played running back?
No, sir. I actually grew up playing lineman. Well, I started off playing running back, but mainly little league from third grade to pretty much from fifth grade. I was like lineman, and then fifth grade year I kind of switched it up back to running back. Like I finally got my opportunity to play running back. I was a little too heavy uh, to play running back in our time in little league because they had to have a weight limit. Nowadays you don't have a weight limit, but back then, yeah. So fifth grade, I played running back. Sixth grade year, we had a little league here in Oklahoma, and then I played guard because I was a little heavy in sixth grade year. Um, Throughout middle school, I played lineman as well in sixth grade. I played lineman in sixth grade, and in the beginning of seventh grade year, I played a little bit of lineman too. But my grandpa kind of begged the coaches to just give me a chance to show what I can do on running back. And my coaches, they were like, he's a little too big, but we'll give him a chance to play up with the eighth graders. So finally got that chance to show him what I can do. And my coach at the time, Coach Nolan, he brought me over. He's like, "You sure you want to play against these big dudes?" I'm like, "I'm not scared of them." So they finally threw me out there and got the chance to run it. The first play call was 34 belly, took it for a 40-yard touchdown. And then after that, our defense stopped the team again. We was playing against the Tecumseh, and my coach was like, "Why not give him the ball again?" We called the same play, but it was the opposite, and it was the opposite direction. And I took it for another 40-yard touchdown. Like it was just two touchdowns that quick off of two carries, and after that, I just took off playing running back through on out and out.
That's awesome. That's crazy. That's a crazy story. So you were actually playing offensive line, and then due to your grandpa begging a coach, you were able to play running back.
Yep, couldn't thank him more enough for that because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be in the spot that I am in. Probably wouldn't say I wouldn't be playing football, but I probably wouldn't be in the spot that I am in right now.
That would make sense. I mean, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, with that being said, I didn't really find most of your stats. What I did find, I didn't really find it very reliable for high school. So, with that being said, why don't you go ahead and give us a quick rundown on how your high school career went and how everything worked out for you?
So freshman year, I didn't really get to play. Um, at the time, my high school didn't believe in, freshmen playing in varsity. Uh, did we know I was good enough to play with varsity? Absolutely. Um, did I know I should have started? Absolutely. It's no disrespect, but it is what it is. And but sophomore year, I didn't play either, just because mentally, us football players go through a little bit of mental stages. It's kind of you know important to get that back going, and I just wasn't in it. My mind wasn't in it. I just didn't care for it, and so I just played basketball that year. And you know, my coming up junior year, I was like, you know what, I missed it. I don't know what I was thinking, not playing. My sophomore year, I was just so hurt and just so pissed off, and so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna play junior year, and I'm gonna take back what was mine. And so finally got to play, and didn't start off in the beginning, and I got hurt with my thumb. I had a little thumb injury, so I didn't get to play in the first few games. Third game, didn't really get to play at all either. So long story short, homecoming came along. Finally got my first starting opportunity, and then ended up with 4 touchdowns and rolled on there from there to senior year. Junior year, I ended up probably with 20 something, probably not 20, but at least 15 touchdowns and probably at least around 400 yards, because we had a great running back trio, and everybody could run the ball. That even our quarterback could run the ball. Jake, we had everybody who can run the ball, and we did a wish T-bone. We call that T-bone offense, and so that's the offense we ran. And then senior year, I had 23 touchdowns and 1,500 yards, and so that's how it was in high school. I didn't really had a statistically great high school run, but I had one D1 team coming to look at me. It was Tulsa University my senior year, and it was the third game. It was a home game, and it was against Chandler High School. I ended up with that game with 247 yards and 6 touchdowns, and for some odd reason, they stopped looking at me after that. I have no idea why. I guess they got their men that they wanted, and I just stayed humbled and just kept on going and moving on from there. So that's how it
All
went.
right. So with that being said, I'm going to play some of your college highlights, because we're going to start talking about your college career and your recruitment process. So here's some of this stuff. This is actually 2 different videos you can find on YouTube. I kind of combined them together. I do not take any credit for these 2 highlight videos or the next one I will play later that's professional. They were all completely robbed of other people's work that was on YouTube. So I believe both of them have credit in them. So pay attention. Definitely great work by both of those guys. So talk to me about your recruitment process and how you ended up at Langston University.
So my dad knows a guy that he played professional indoor ball with. His name is Quentin Morgan. Quentin Morgan is a family. He's basically in the family. I'm going to say he's my uncle. And, he brought me along, knowing that I didn't have no Division I, teams coming at me. So he was just like, you know what? I've known you since you was little and everything. And why not come play for an HBCU and, come play for your own racist team? Nothing racial or anything like that, but just something to know historically, to know your own people. Come play here for us, You're gonna start as a freshman, and so yeah, I took it at that point, and I was just like, I ain't got nothing else, so I just went to Langston, and after that, the rest was history. Freshman year, I didn't really start. Sophomore year, that's when I had my, but I played a little bit my freshman year. Sophomore year, I started out playing in it, and then throughout senior year, that's just when my career took off.
Absolutely. I mean, as you can tell, the highlights are showing, everything you're saying. I mean, once you got to college and you got the opportunity, it was very clear that you belonged at the college level and probably at a lot higher level than where you ended up. But with that being said, I completely understand the want and the desire to go to an HCBU. With that being said, I mean, it makes perfect sense. And I don't feel that it's racial at all. I feel that's just a pride thing. And I feel like everybody can understand that if you look at it without color involved, personally. But you get to college and it seems like your career kind of starts to take off. I mean, it wasn't long before you started collecting Offensive Player of the Week awards, and you're recognized for yearly awards as well. When you look back, is there one award that sticks out among the rest?
Not really, because all of it was all hard work, and I just cherished every moment of it, and all the work has paid off. So there's no reward that's better than any other reward because I deserve all of it. So I'm not going to say any reward is higher than any other.
Agreed. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Um, did you expect your college career to go like this once you finally got the opportunity to play?
Um, Actually, some of the actually yes. Because like I said, I worked hard at perfecting my craft and just doing whatever it takes to get the rewards and get all the great film that I could get. Because everything, like I said, all the work has paid off, and I just knew if I kept God in it as well and staying humble and staying to myself, it was all going to play in its part. And so, yes, absolutely. I think everything that has happened was all in my head. I knew it was going to happen just like this, like that. If I stay in it, and stay focused, that I knew I was going to break loose.
Absolutely. I feel like as an athlete, excuse me, as an athlete, you need that confidence to be able to find success at any level. I mean, you have to have a confidence in your ability to know that, hey, I'm going to run full speed at this other dude and I'm going to run him right over and keep trucking, especially at a running back position. I'm sure it's difficult to play that without that sort of confidence behind you. So shout out to NFL Draft Diamonds, who seem to always get players before I get them on here, but great channel. They do a lot of great work. But you did an interview with them at one point, and you said that if it wasn't for playing football, that you might be a strength and conditioning coach. Is it something about this in particular that is a passion outside of the football world?
Yes, absolutely. I would say, yeah, absolutely. Strength coach and just a coach in general for any position, skill, head coach, whatever, it don't matter. But the reason why I would say that is just because if I wasn't playing football, I would at least help out some young athletes that I didn't get the help just about, and give them the guidance that they could get to be probably much more of a better player than I was, and knowing all the crafts and knowing what work to do and to get up there and what to expect when they do get up there. So to help someone out to be better than I was will be a pleasure, because I know what it was like to not get help, and I know what it's like to get some help. And so I definitely want to help out young ones in the future if nothing goes my way with playing ball and stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Gotcha. So your college career in general was impressive, and it showed when you graduated with honors such as all-time leading rusher, all-time leading scorer, and AP All-American honors in 2019, while collecting also your fair share of Offensive Player of the Week awards that we spoke about earlier. When you look back, is there a particular game in which you felt like it was kind of your coming out party? Like you knew, hey, at this point, after this game, I knew I could be a professional football player.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, I would say two games, but the first one that put me in a great position to having the whole campus knowing who I was and letting all the coaches know that this cat can ball. It was a Division II school, Lane College, is a HBCU in Tennessee, and my coach at the time, my running back coach, is Coach Serge. He stick with his word, and I respect the coach who sticks with his word. We had 5 running backs, and I was the last one on the depth chart. Now, don't get me wrong, we had like 6 or 8 starting off in camp, but going into the season, we started off in 5, and I was the last one on the depth chart. And all the running backs that were before me, they would I say was I better than them? I wouldn't say I was the best or I'm better. I would just say my work ethic and my mindset was much more stronger and more effective than theirs was. So I knew my time was going to come. It was just when is it gonna come? No, like that's when I was like, my mindset was kind of going back to my, like I said, sophomore year of high school. Like everything was following in the same route of high school going up to college. So freshman year I didn't play much. I played a little bit. Sophomore year I haven't played at all. So I'm like, man, this is high school all over again. But anyway, I would say Tennessee, you know, all the running backs was fumbling, not doing their assignments. My coach put me into the game. He's like, "You ready?" I said, "I stay ready." So third quarter came. That's when I got my first start. It was second half, and we was losing by a touchdown. So the first drive I got in, I scored the first touchdown. I scored the first touchdown on that first drive. So I was getting a good amount of yards, staying consistent, wasn't fumbling, was getting on my blocking assignments, catching every pass that I could that came to me. And after that, fourth quarter came along. It was a not tie ball game. We was winning by at least 2 or 3 points, and we just needed to keep the drive and momentum on our side. And it was fourth quarter. I'll say about 1 minute and 10 seconds left. We just kept the drive going, and then boom, like 30 seconds left, we needed a first down, and I made a 20-yard run to seal the game off. And after that game, all my teammates knew I should have been, well, I wouldn't say all, but a few of them knew I should have been starting. And now we was just all celebrating. You know, we found our man, we found our guy who can stay consistent. And so now we just roll with the punches thrown out that season. And then, but the second game, I would say that really made my confidence go up even more was when we played Southern University. They are a Division I powerhouse HBCU. If anybody knows about HBCU, they're going to know about Southern University. And so that game, I scored only 1 touchdown, but it's just the way how I played in the game, how I kept myself going, making plays happen like it was nothing. I'm playing against Division I talent, and some guys that was on that team that was on defense, their defense was the best defense in that conference, in the SWAC at the time. So I'm like, bro, if I'm doing this to you guys, just imagine if I was like up here, you know what I mean? I get more, what do you call it? More social media, more media on me, more media attention. And, but at the same time, it was just a blessing to get the chance to play against the Division I team, to let people know that some of us can play at Division I talent and against it. So it was just a blessing to showcase that.
Agreed. And, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people say there's not enough talent for all of these spring leagues popping up, but I would totally disagree, because there's a lot of men like you that didn't get the opportunity to go to a Division I school or, something like that would get them the type of marketing they needed to make it to the NFL level. So there's plenty of diamonds in the rough like yourself out there that need an opportunity in the outdoor game to make it to the NFL level at some point. So I think it's a really good thing to see the MLFB, the XFL, and the USFL launching, because it's giving more opportunities to men like yourself.
I just pray something comes out. I'm gonna stay ready. I'm praying on it. I'm not gonna question, God's timing, because if I do that, then that's gonna question my belief in Him. And I know He's stronger than, and my belief is stronger than that. So I'm not gonna question it. But I'm gonna pray that it comes soon or whatsoever, because by the time it does come, I'm gonna be ready, and it's gonna take care of itself from there.
Absolutely. So we got a couple comments. Your coach Tay Brooks chimes in. He says, "My man Tim," and then Sarah Jones says, "Yes, I love Tim." So just wanted to throw that out there for you. And then we're gonna talk about a nickname that you have that I think is extremely fitting. Where did T-Train come from, man?
So it started off in high school. My boy Mike Hoover, always shout out to him, because everybody always wanted to know what that name is, and it's crazy. Like I said, junior year, a lot of people ain't gonna know, but when they said when my coach said I was too big, I was too big. Like, I was big, but I was faster than most of our skill position guys. Like, I was faster and stronger and could do more, and I was way much more athletic, and that's not even questionable. So I was 260 pounds playing running back. And when you think of Jerome Bennis, like, when you see him, like, just think of that. Like, I was running people over, and honestly, I was doing some spin moves. Don't get me wrong. I was doing a little freak action, getting a little filleting out there. But that's where it came from. I was just big, husky, and just running people over, getting in the end zone. It was just so easy for me. So I was like, what's the point of me trying to hurdle or doing this and doing that? I'm just going to use my main strength and just run this kid over and just, you know, showing his mama what I'm doing to her son.
So following college, talk to me about the interest you got from teams.
Um, like, what do you mean? Like
NFL,
what?
IFL, CFL, whoever was calling you. I mean, was your phone blowing up? Were you getting offers from the IFL, workouts with the CFL, etc.?
Oh, so you know, it was really a breakout year. Everybody knows it when COVID came, it messed a lot of people's futures up, including mine. And so no, I didn't have no callings, not from not one agent, not from one league, not from anyone. And but I did have a blessing in the middle of around in March. I got a newsletter from Tulsa University. They said that, hey, you are invited to come to a little pro day to, showcase your talents at our university and our facility. And I was just like, man, I was just ready to go. I was excited. We was in front of probably 15 NFL teams, and I was just, not one bit of me was nervous. It was like that little kid just came out of me, like everybody is nervous to showcase their talents in front of professional scouts. I don't know why I was. Usually I get nervous before a game, and I do. Like, who doesn't if you don't get nervous before a game, you're crazy. But it teaches their own. But man, I wasn't nervous at all. I was excited, put up great numbers on the bench, 40 shuttle. And then once the skill positions came out and they said, do our little running back stuff, it was just easy money and nothing to be nervous about. I do this for a living, so it just took care of itself.
Absolutely. So I saw that you signed with Quad City for a moment. Was that the first contract that you received from the IFL?
Yep, that was my first professional contract that I have signed. And man, I was excited and a little nervous, but COVID shut everything down, I was about to play at the highest indoor league, and boom, got shut down. And after that, things kind of went a little downhill, but it kind of picked back up, sort of.
Yeah. Does QC still hold a special place in your heart?
I still got great relations with a few players and coaches. It's no, bashing heads or any chit chats, talking trash or anything. It's all love from here. And yeah, that's where my aunt is too, and she was going to come watch me play, and I was excited to go down there and experience it. And but God has his reasons for people's roads. You know what I mean?
Agreed. And we don't know what the reason was, but there was a reason, I assume. So in 2021, you kind of bounced around a little bit. First you're with Billings, then you move on to Albany, correct?
No, I was 2021. That was my first start with the West Texas Warbirds in Odessa.
Gotcha.
And it's in Odessa, Texas, and that was a blessing to experience. I have a great group of friends that I still talk to this day, and but it was a wonderful experience because my favorite movie of all time is Friday Night Lights, and just watching that movie being made in Odessa and just seeing the town, the way it looks, is just like, man, this is where my favorite movie was made. And you can just feel the football history in that town, man. Like, when they say Texas is very important, when football is important in Texas, man, like, it's just like, it's real. Like, you can feel it in the air. You can just the history of it, man. It was just a blessing to be there. And it was a great organization to play for, and shout out to them for giving me my first opportunity to play pro indoor as well.
Absolutely. We've had a couple Warbirds on the channel before you, Christian Cavanis and Aaron Dilworth. So those guys were both big-time performers, so it makes a lot of sense. Talk to me about some of the other guys we might not know were on that West Texas Warbirds roster.
Carlos Thompson, Akil Shepard, Isaiah Thompson, Akil Shepard, Devin Williams, Bobby, and DJ Adams. Like, those guys, man, like, we're all dogs. We had some Daniel Smith. We just DT. Like, we had so many athletes that a lot of people don't realize what type of athletes we had on this team. Like, the team that we had really, like, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Like, even some of our coaches, like, we shouldn't have had this type of players on this team at this type of level. We could have really easily beaten any. I ain't gonna lie, we would have been top 3 IFL team if we was in the IFL at the time. Like, the defense we had, the offense we had, I don't care what any coach on here thinks. Like, we would have beaten most teams. Like, I don't care. We wouldn't have been scared to play Arizona Rattlers. I don't care who you were. You just know you're gonna get a feel for your own action. I'll tell you that.
Agreed. That was a stacked roster, which showed immediately in true Tim Whitfield fashion. The first game of the season, you scored twice in a win that went 38-28, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So that just goes to show you exactly what kind of player you are. So I'm going to kind of put out a stereotype out there about bigger backs, so feel free to argue it. A lot of people think the bigger backs like yourself, the 220, 230 guys, they can't catch the ball out of the backfield, but you kind of break that stereotype, as you've seen in the highlights behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you specifically train for that? I mean, are there some certain coaches that have helped you develop as a receiver?
So I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna shout him out. Tyreek York, him, and back then his dad also trained us back when we was in high school and all that. But my boy Tyreek, we still train to this day. We just finished up the session today, but we work on every single attribute. Like, we work on it's no weakness. We're not gonna have no weakness in our game, and whatever weakness there is it's still not gonna even be a weakness. So yes, we work on catching, blocking, running. Like, I ain't gonna lie, running is the last part. We know I can run the ball. So let's just get everything else on up, get everything else up on critique and get it up to fast like I can running the ball. So yes, there ain't gonna be not one weakness in my game. I ain't gonna lie, you're gonna lose some reps or miss some catches. Not everybody is perfect, but we're working to be perfect.
Absolutely. I like how you put that. So overall, in 6 games this season with the Green Bay Blizzard, you rack up 59 touches for 288 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's considering you split carries with multiple guys all season long. Are you satisfied with your performance, or is there more to come from Tim Whitfield next season?
No, I'm not satisfied at all. I could have done more, and absolutely, it's not even questionable. But I was just blessed to be up there, and shout out to Coach Robe and Coach B and Coach Tay for getting me up there to showcase my talent, that I can be solidified in this league and I can play at this level and much higher. But at the same time, I'm not satisfied with what my stats were, and I know I can do way much more. But the team that we had, any guy who's going to have the ball in his hands is going to make something shake. So it's no selfishness or whatsoever, but I know for a fact I could do way much more.
Absolutely. I would agree. Personally, as we talked off camera, I think you should be in the USFL, the XFL, one of these leagues, as a starting bell cow running back. In fact, I talked about Tampa Bay's lack of a running game all season long. If they had you, things might have been a little bit different. They might have been in the playoff run instead of the Breakers. But anyway, we'll move on to a couple other things. So coaches preach versatility. So talk to me about some roles that you might be able to fill that we are not aware of. I mean, would you feel comfortable playing like fullback if needed, or blocking or returning on special teams, personal punt protector maybe?
Yeah, I would definitely return, kickoff return and everything. Coach Tay, like I said, shout out to him. He's an incredible special teams coordinator. But I would just have to say, in the indoor game, it's different returning squib kicks than it is outdoor. Indoor, the ball is way much more bouncing and way much more like shifting. Like you don't know where the ball is going to go, so you have to work on your craft in order to return in that league. I didn't return much. I was going to, but I just got there at a late moment, and so whoever was there, that was them for them at that position. But absolutely, if I could return kicks, playing fullback, I'm gonna have to get up a little bit more on the size of it. It is what it is if I had to, but my main thing is playing running back, and that's my to-go position. That's where I'd rather play, because I worked my butt off to show people that I can run the ball, catch, block, still do all, etc.
So, absolutely.
But yeah.
So one more couple questions. Are you a rhythm runner? Are you the type of back who needs to get 15 to 20 games to feel in a rhythm, or are you a type of guy that once you step on the field, you're ready to go, and that's all it takes?
Pretty much. I ain't gonna lie, it's both. But I mean, but I would say, it just depends on the play calling. I prefer to start inside zone and then work on outside zone. If I go inside zone, I'm gonna find that rhythm and I'm gonna get, comfortable. Outside zone, it will take care of itself. So once I get like fluent and everything on the inside zone, outside zone, it's going to take care of itself.
That makes perfect sense. So talk to me about your next move as a player. I mean, as of right now, are you planning on being back in the IFL with Green Bay? Sorry about that. Or are you trying to latch on with the MLFB, USFL, or XFL next spring?
Well, my plan is to be where I know, like, hopefully I plan on being outside. Like, that's what every kid is trying to do, is play in the NFL. But if it has to be CFL, XFL, MLFB, then I'm not going to question God's road to my success. So, but my options is open. If Green Bay wants to take me back, which is the coach said he would, then I would be blessed to go back. But like I said, my options is open till this point right now.
Gotcha. Sarah Jones wants you to come back to Green Bay.
Thank you, Sarah.
With that being said, I am going to let you get out of here for the night. I really appreciate you coming on, Tim. You're the man. Like I said, you're my favorite IFL player. I'm definitely going to be following the rest of your career, and we'll definitely have to have you back on somewhere in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on here, man. And it was anything, man, just to get my name out there. I appreciate you for helping me out, getting it out there, and much love, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Happy to help. You're a great player. I mean, like I said, I told you off camera, I think you belong in a higher league, and I'm not just saying that to grease you up or anything. I truly believe that, and I'm going to do whatever I can in my power to help you get there, man. So with that being said, definitely keep in touch. We'll, like I said, we'll chop it up again in the future, hopefully when you're signing your NFL deal.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Have a great night, man.
You too, man.
All right, so that's a great segue into my next guest. My next guest is actually in this tweet right here. Bengals have signed 3 players, one of which was a USFL player that's about to join us. And his name, without further ado, is Dominique Davis, the defensive tackle from the Houston Gamblers. How you doing tonight, Dominique?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Happy to be on. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, man. I can't even... You're happy to be on? I'm happy to have you on, man. You seriously, you made my night by coming on. I already was super excited to talk to Tim. Like I said, my favorite IFL player. I never in a million years thought you would actually come on to break this news. So without further ado, go ahead and tell everybody what happened today. I mean, that's good. You've got to be elated.
Yeah, man. I just had to work out with the Cincinnati Bengals. And they ended up signing me right after. So, blessed, man. Everything go to God.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
That is amazing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you actually had interest from multiple teams this offseason. Do you care to tell us the other teams that looked at you?
As far as what I know, what my agent told me, it was a lot of teams, but the ones that pulled the trigger with the workouts was the Steelers and the Bengals, and I think it was some more interest building up with another team. So, but hey, I'm a Bengal now, so it's too late.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's going to be really interesting to see exactly what happens with you and the Bengals. But I think there's a pretty good shot for you to make that roster, man. I mean, they've got a solid defensive line, but they could use some depth inside.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm going to work, man.
I have no doubt.
Yes, sir.
So talk to me about how you feel about the USFL, given the fact that they helped you, in a way, get back to where you wanted to be.
Man, it was a great opportunity for a guy like me, man. I needed film, coming off my injury I had with my left foot. So last year it was like a dead period. I got a lot of answers, but I didn't go to any workout. So my agent told me I need to go this route, So okay, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome. If you don't mind me asking, who's your agent?
Eric Schmeller out of ISC Worldwide.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, obviously he did some work too behind the scenes, getting you the workouts and getting you out in front of the right people, because now you've got that great big NFL contract to work with, man. So give us an insight. I mean, when do you have to report, given that you signed today? I mean, you're there to stay now?
Yeah, I'm already here, man. I'm already here starting tomorrow, really technically the first day. So yeah, I'm already here, ready to work.
That's amazing. So when they work you out for the NFL like that, I mean, is it a situation where you're basically going through a full day of practice with them, or are you running combine drills? I mean, how exactly does that all work out?
Everybody's situation is different. Me, it was really just like seeing if I'm conditioned, movement. So to me, that's all I really do when I work out. I do the weight room too, but I really focus on movement. So the drills they do, they have me doing the same thing. That's how I excelled on.
Interesting. I always kind of wondered exactly how they worked people out. I'm sure it's on a position by position basis for sure.
Yeah.
But I know it's getting late on your side of the world, man. I really appreciate you coming on. This meant a lot to me for sure. And like I said, we'll definitely have to get in a full interview at some point when you have an opportunity. At this point, I'm sure it's going to be a little while, but that's okay. Definitely keep in touch, man. And once again, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. You had an amazing season. I mean, you're a great dude. We've been chopping it up behind the scenes for quite a while. And I couldn't root for a better guy, quite honestly. So I'm super happy to see that you get this NFL contract, man. And I'm rooting for you to make that active roster for the 53.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you for having me on, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll definitely keep in touch, and I'm looking forward to seeing everything you can do in the future.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have a great night, man. All right, guys. Once again, so that was Dominique Davis, the defensive tackle from the Houston Gamblers, who just signed an NFL contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. That dude is an awesome guy. Like I said, I've been talking behind the scenes with him for a while. I didn't actually expect that he would come on here and announce it. Technically, the only person who's put this out here so far is that tweet that I showed you, Aaron Wilson. And that dude is on the cutting edge of letting breaking news out, and he's been on top of every USFL player signing. And he's an NFL insider that's obviously got ties that are even better than mine, because when I was finding out from Davis himself, Wilson was putting this out. So he must have heard it from the team themselves that they were going to sign him. But regardless of how it happened, I'm so excited for Dominique, man. He is a great player. He had 57 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 3 tackles for a loss in the USFL season. He helped the Houston Gamblers defense be a force throughout the USFL season, and he is one of the best players that came out of the USFL in 2022, and he definitely 100% belongs at the NFL level. He's still extremely young, so he's just at the beginning of his career, and he's just at the beginning of his development. If the Bengals actually invest the time and effort in him that they hopefully will, that dude is going to be a monster. And I mean that in the best possible way, because at this point, he's already had the development of the USFL level coaching and workout regimen. Now get him in an NFL workout, get him in an NFL coaching room, learning from the best of the best. Some of the best defensive line coaches in the league, guys that developed players like Geno Atkins. They helped Trey Hendrickson to a great season last year. I am excited for Dominique Davis to end up there. But with that being said, I'm going to call it a night. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. You got a little bit of IFL action and a little bit of USFL action in this one. And we're hopefully going to bring you more of this going forward. Later on this week, if you end up joining me live, we've got the last episode of FCF Thursdays, followed by linebacker Jeremiah Spicer, who is trying to make it back in the XFL after playing there in 2020. The FCF Thursday finale, Ray Austin, the commissioner of the Fan Control Football League. So we already had one co-founder on. Now we're having another co-founder who is the current commissioner. And if you have not seen Ray Austin and his energy, just wait, because I assure you this is going to be a good one. He's a high energy type of commissioner. He's not like Roger Goodell. He's not like any of these other guys that run these other leagues. He is out there doing one-on-one drills with NBA players or, stuff like that. He is on the forefront of promoting this league and searching for talent and trying to find new and cutting edge ways to bring their league in front of new fans. But with that being said, I hope you guys tune in, because that's not it this week. I know. I'm bringing you a lot of action this week, but I hope you enjoy it. But with that being said, I will also be doing an interview with running back Reggie Corbin from the USFL. This dude was 4th in the rushing leadership ranking in the USFL, and that's considering he missed 2 games due to injury. If he had played all 10 games on his current average, he would have paced everybody in the league by almost 80 yards. But with that being said, that one's going to be edited and released. It's not going to be a live recording, so you'll have to stay tuned for the weekend for that one. I'll probably release that on like Saturday, give you a couple days to digest the FCF and XFL stuff that I brought you, as well as the NFL, USFL, and IFL. We covered basically every league this week, so I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. And with that being said, I'm going to call it a night.